My name is Paul Scharfman. I own a little company in Dodge County, about 45 minutes north and east of Madison, Wisconsin. The company is called the Specialty Cheese Company. And guess what? We make cheese. So I'm going to run you through a little bit about workforce at our place where we've been. First, what we do is make weird cheese. That's a business strategy. There it is. We make cheese for people from India and Indian cuisine. We make Middle Eastern cheese, Hispanic cheese, all manner of just unusual stuff that other cheese makers really don't want to do. We have been fortunate over the years to enjoy some growth. The company has grown by approximately a factor of 10. It's grown an average of 14% per year, every year for the last 17 years. So compounding is a great thing, and it results in some significant growth. The issue is workforce. When we have expanded our factory, I pay for spancrete walls and expensive concrete where the lifetime is guaranteed for 40 years. The issue is in rural Wisconsin, the workforce is going the wrong way. We both have a total population decline, and those who stay tend to be aging out of the workforce. The youth tend to leave. So this leads to a question which is rarely asked, but the UW Population Health Institute asked it in Dodge County. Most people assume there's nobody left to work. The people who want to work are working. The people who aren't working don't want to work. That's false. It turns out that in rural Dodge County, highly prestigious institute did this research. 40% of the households in Dodge County have an adult living at home who is of working age, who wants to work and isn't working. That's a lot of households. So then the question is, why aren't they working? I have friends and colleagues who say because they're lazy, they're of bad character. 40% of the people out in your area want to work. 40% of the households of people, somebody who wants to work but isn't working. That's because they're not such good people. That's false. The reason that 40% of the households in Dodge County have someone who wants to work but isn't working is largely tangible barriers. So as a greedy employer, I figure if I can overcome those tangible barriers, I can increase my workforce. What are the barriers? Barrier number one, health and physical issues. So I have both health benefits and a full-time on-site physical therapist. And guess what? We get people who want to work. Barrier two, transportation. It costs a lot of money to run a car. Rural Wisconsin, you have to drive further. There are a lot of people who have either unreliable or no access to a vehicle. There's one vehicle in the household, the other partner works, goes out of the house, the partner trapped at home has no vehicle. So we run a ride share program. I employ 10 people full-time out of my 300 employees. Full-time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They drive to people's homes and pick up the workers at their home and drive them to work. They pay and I pay. It costs me about $20 per employee per day to get them to work. But what it means is I have a waiting list of people who want to work for me. People call us all the time saying, we don't know what you guys make, but you're the ones who offer rides. We want to work. Okay? But that isn't enough. There's another reason people don't want to work. They're ashamed. So we teach our staff soft skills. We teach them how to onboard people and how to keep those who have recently joined. We teach emotional intelligence. It's buzzy, trendy, whatever, but we do it and it helps. We talked a little bit about rideshare. It's great. It's also not enough. So we come to childcare. Barriers, health, physical, transportation, and then here's childcare. By the way, pay concern means people are concerned if they get too much money, they'll lose their benefits. I don't like competing with the state. Oh, but I can do something about health. I can do something about ride share, and I can do something about childcare. So for childcare, we have donated 4 acres of land adjacent to our factory. And the Dodge County Housing Authority is going to build on that land affordable housing and a child care center. And I'm going to contribute $20 per employee per day towards that child care. They're going to break ground in April, should be up and running this autumn, and our company will then offer health benefits, ride share, emotional safety, and childcare. It's a good combination, and it has allowed us to be fully staffed even as we grow. I'm going to close with a call to action. The state needs to be involved in childcare. Childcare is expensive. I can help $20 a day. The parents have to pay some, but approximately $75 a day for childcare. I pay 20. The parent is left with about $50 a day they have to pay. It's too much for my job. So there's something called Wisconsin Shares state subsidy, and it helps lower income people get to work. The state is willing to do that. Our legislature needs to be told this is a good idea. There are 50,000, my number, men and women trapped at home right now who want to work and can't work, but would if they had childcare. That's a lot of people in one state. If we get 50,000 more workers in the state, it's worth money. The numbers work out, but our legislature is not hearing it. I was chatting recently with Representative Mark Bourne and Senator John Jagler, who said publicly, you're the only business leader we've ever heard who gives a fig about childcare. So we don't care about it. No, we need business leaders to tell us the state needs to help make childcare happen. And then it will. Please tell your legislators, help us get workers by fixing the childcare barrier. Ella, I'm done. Glad to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Thank you so much, Paul. I'm going to kick off the questions really quickly. One of the things that you had mentioned was the fact that folks have shame around this. Could you go a little bit into what you meant by that?
Yeah. So up here, there's a big bunch of barriers. And at a separate point, I can give you more detail. It turns out that there are mental health issues everywhere, right? People we experience who haven't worked suffer from the belief that their worth, their personal worth as a human being is less because they haven't worked. And the longer you've been out of the workforce, the more you second guess yourself. Sometimes you develop bad chemical biohazards, drugs, alcohol, whatever. But even if you're clean as a whistle, you think less of yourself because you are told you are worth less because you haven't worked. And that includes mothers, which is the most crazy thing in the world. Here's a person who has been out of the workforce for a year, raising her first child. She feels less of herself because all she's done is raised an infant. I, as a guy, am going, no, that's like really valuable. Would you bring them to work? You have to help them gain the confidence, the physical endurance to believe that they can succeed in the world of work. Ella, did that answer your question?
That did. Perfect. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? I see one from Tim here.
Do- sure. Dodge County, northeast of Madison, 10 miles due east of Beaver Dam.
How big is your community?
Um, everybody knows everybody. It's a small community. Um, my community is the worst site of crime and drug abuse in Dodge County. Uh, 20 some years ago, there were two high schools in Dodge County, Reeseville and Juneau, and they shut down the high school in Reeseville. So no one wanted to move to Reeseville. It was about as far as you could get from the school district if you wanted to raise children. Reeseville property values dropped, drugs went up, whorehouses. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not pretty. But here we are, beautiful downtown Reeseville. And of course, we're the largest employer by a lot. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Kelly?
Mother was able to secure employment at a local factory in Portage, and with three small children, they were unable to find daycare. They went to try to get the share enrollment so that they could afford daycare so the father could go to work at the same factory. However, they were told at that time until he actually had that job and was there for 1 month, he would not be eligible for any share benefits. So they were unable to go ahead and afford that. And then, kind of the catch 22 with that was that the minute he took that job, he would then be barely over the income level to be able to afford to get the share benefits that they were trying to get. So there's a lot of hidden red tape here.
So Kelly just gave an example of what you were describing in terms of, being able to access benefits as well as how it would affect income limits. Thank you for that, Kelly. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much.